I think that in the past, what we've done has not addressed the needs of some communities, like, you know, people with vision or hearing impairment, say, or whatever, that we now recognize we must uh, we must fix the way we're working, and in that way, higher standards are being leveled on our work. It's not so much that the work is gratuitously expanding, but that we have a consciousness that's different now. And perhaps we're also finding that tools are available that empowers us. You know, I lived for years and years in the same town that this young man named Johnson, he was quadriplegic and he was at UC Berkeley, and he was the he was the instigator of what ultimately became the Americans with Disability Act, the ADA. He revolutionized things. Ultimately, a community did so. But we're now recognizing that we create environments that create disabilities among demographics. But those people say to us, I am not disabled. It's the built environment that disables me. And, you know, when we're looking at math and making it accessible to people with vision impairments or who have to hear it, you know, through sound, we're looking at how in the history of math, it's been done in such a way that it completely cuts out an entire demographic. So I really don't think it's gratuitous at all that we're having to measure up to a higher standard now of usability.
I'm wondering how we bring this very useful conversation towards the conclusion. I will want to say something following on from Arthur, which is science progresses one birth at a time. Anybody at any time can accept a new idea. I'm just sort of pushing back at
my dismal statement of science progressing one death at a time. But Jonathan, look at what that does to you and me. I mean, every day we wake up alive. It's like a new birth. We get to see ourselves as part of that progress. We're not exempt.
I think I've been quite impressed at the shared understanding we've had. I'm pleased with that. And I'm sort of pleased that the conversation has sort of gone on in sort of on equal terms, that we're all accepting our diverse experiences. I think the starting point for communication is recognizing the other person or the other people as human beings with similarities to oneself and differences to oneself. And I was sort of really impressed that Jonathan was saying how he was going from one place to another in the document using HTML in a way that people can't do in PDF. It sort of tells me that PDF is only one medium. And our experience would be so much richer and tech would be so much more useful if we embrace that more fully. That's the lesson I'm taking from this, that resonates with my sort of long-term history and interests. Other people from this conversation will take different things away from it.
Well, I share that with you, Jonathan. I'm delighted to say.
Jonathan Godfrey, I'm really glad that this conversation has been recorded. I'll cut it into pieces and put them up on the YouTube. And I hope that we can have similar conversations with more people to spread it widely and get better understanding in the future. I think that there are people in the blind programming community who, there seems to be a bit of a schism, not schism, but sort of separation between the blind programmers and the blind math people. And bringing those two groups more together is something I think would be very helpful. But as a sighted person, I'm not well placed to understand the issues properly.
I end up spending a lot more of my time doing programming today than I do anything mathematical. But I don't engage with blind programmers because I'm operating in a world where the issues of blindness are not felt in my programming stuff. I don't have an actual need to reach out to those blind programmers as a community and learn from them. I don't know if I have anything to offer, but I also don't know what I don't know. So I do every now and again look towards what other communities are discussing to see if there's just something I have been unable to see because I wasn't looking. And I suggest that the same is true for programmers who haven't looked back over the fence to the other side either. Yeah, I'm happy to carry on conversations. I have to say the time zone thing, meaning that I was up before the birds this morning, does limit my engagement with the tech hour. But once your summer ends and mine begins, it flips back the other way and it becomes not quite so hideous start for me. So yeah, I'll be back.
We've had some pretty cold weather lately, so I'm looking forward to our summer beginning.
Well, I'm going to wave goodbye to Nelson.
Yeah.
And the two Jonathans, and I see someone else on the call at this point. Thanks for joining us all. Thank you for providing the opportunity. See you next time.
Okay.
I might do similar. It's it's now time that I was the last person in the house to have breakfast.
Can you smell the coffee? You've got coffee.
Had coffee, didn't get given another one by the others passing, but that's all right.
Okay, it's really nice to meet you, Jonathan.
Yeah.
I'm glad we've had this, and I sort of, I can read your emails more easily now that I can see the person behind them. And sort of, yeah, it's really helpful. So thank you.
No problem. We'll talk again.